Have you ever had one of those days where you wake up and you feel like you're not in the world that you know? Like it's a Twilight Zone episode. You've woken up into the wrong reality, the wrong dimension. Yeah, on some of the image boards that I go to, occasionally you'll see this argument come up, this discussion come up about the Berenstain Bears. You remember that child's book about the bear family, and they'd have little adventures, and it was cute and all that shit. Well, there's a debate. How do you spell the name? Is it Berenstain or is it Berenstain? Now, people will argue about this shit for hours, and there are elaborate theories that are out there about exactly what's going on and why people are remembering two different spellings for this name. Now, one of the more interesting theories is that there are, these parallel dimensions. And in one dimension, they're the Berenstain Bears, and in the other dimension, they're the Berenstein Bears. And at some point, these two magical parallel dimensions crossed paths with one another, and people kind of swapped place. And so, for those of us that remembered it one way, we're stuck in the other dimension, and vice versa. That's how I feel. I feel like I keep waking up in the wrong fucking parallel dimension. Because I can't imagine the people in the reality that I was born into being as fucking complacent and apathetic and stupid as they are. It's like a never-ending march through these alternate realities. And yet here I find myself gobsmacked at just the utter stupidity of people. This can't be my original fucking dimension. This can't be my reality. People cannot be this fucking dumb. I have been shifted. I've been shifted along with the goddamn Berenstein Bears into the shitty Berenstain universe. And I'm fucking stuck here with you people. It seems like every fucking day now, we hear about a new government program or a new corporate push to strip away any sense of privacy, any sense of anonymity that's left on the internet. You can't be anonymous anymore. And even worse than that, now that you have your identity pushed out, forced out, you can't have free speech either. That has to be restricted, and they'll give all sorts of justifications. And it's not just the fucking government. That's what makes it so goddamn mind-boggling. People are demanding it. They want to be protected. They don't want to have free speech. They want to be censored. They're fucking demanding it. And so I feel lost. I feel like I don't belong here because I can't imagine people are this dumb. And I think what really helps to encapsulate this kind of idea that I'm talking about, or really helps to highlight it, is a story that I just came across. It just went up yesterday on the Washington Post about a website called Peeple. Peeple. You get it? You're peeping on people. See, it's a cute little interplay of words, because nothing makes you feel more secure about your social network than the idea that you're being spied on and observed all the fucking time. That's a great branding choice. What the fuck? But hey, I'll let the marketing geniuses that came up with this fucking monstrosity explain it themselves. I'm going to show you highlights of the article so you get an idea of what this website is before I really start to discuss what should be the obvious fucking problems with it that extend beyond just the surface complaints that I've been kind of seeing pop up here and there. Everyone you know will be able to rate you on the terrifying Yelp for People, whether you want them to or not. You can already rate restaurants, hotels, movies, college classes, government agencies, and bowel movements online. So the most surprising thing about Peeple, basically Yelp, but for humans, may be the fact that no one has yet had the gall to launch something like it. When the app does launch, probably in late November, you'll be able to assign reviews and 1 to 5 star ratings to everyone you know. Your exes, your coworkers, the old guy who lives next door. You can't opt out. Once someone puts your name in the Peeple system, it's there unless you violate the site's terms of service. And you can't delete bad or biased reviews. That would defeat the whole purpose. People do so much research when they buy a car or make those kinds of decisions, said Julia Cordray, one of the app's founders. Why not do the same kind of research on other aspects of your life? This, in a nutshell, Cordray's pitch for the app, the one she has been making to development companies, private shareholders, and Silicon Valley venture capitalists. As of Monday, the company's shares put its valuation at $7.6 million. A bubbly, no-holds-bar, trendy lady with a marketing degree and 2 recruiting companies, Cordray sees no reason you wouldn't want to showcase your character online. Co-founder Nicole McCullough comes at the app from a different angle. As a mother of 2 in an era when people don't always know their neighbors, she wanted something to help her decide whom to trust with her kids. Given the importance of these kinds of decisions, People's integrity features are fairly rigorous, as Cordray will reassure you in the most vehement terms. If you raise any concerns about shaming or bullying on the service, to review someone, you must be 21 and have an established Facebook account, and you must make reviews under your real name. And the inset picture would be Nicole McCullough on the left and Julia Cordray on the right. These would be the 2 geniuses that have birthed this idea. And here's the last little excerpt from this piece. Positive ratings post immediately. Negative ratings are queued in a private inbox for 48 hours in case of disputes. If you haven't registered for the site and thus can't contest those negative ratings, your profile only shows positive reviews. On top of that, Peeple has outlawed a laundry list of bad behaviors including profanity, sexism, and mentions of private health conditions. So after reading the comments from the two co-founders, you can see the Washington Post wasn't far off when they said that this really is the Yelp of people. You're rating other human beings. You're assigning a number. You're using a metric to give them a value. And then you're leaving comments, relating to that valuation that you've given. So you have this site that lets you put up reviews of people, and they basically are using your personal information. If you go back and you read that article, if you heard the excerpts that I read to you, if you go look into it more, you'll find out that they originally wanted to use Facebook and scrape it with an API and get all your information that way, but Facebook wasn't going to allow them to do that. So they had to add in extra steps. We want your cell phone number. We want all this personal information about you. So you set up an account and you're going to rate somebody else. What if they don't have an account? You can make one for them. Again, I'll cover that in a little bit. And it also talks about how if it's a negative review, it won't show up. It'll only be positive reviews. That's not true either. I'll show you again in a little bit. That's bullshit. So how could this be misused? Where you can basically put up somebody's real name, their real information, and leave any comment about them you want, and basically say that you know them, that you had a working relationship, a romantic relationship, or a familial relationship with them. Think of the internet that we exist in right now with hypersensitive people. Take SJWs just as an example and the life ruination tactics they like to employ when somebody angers them. Imagine a flood of those motherfuckers showing up and leaving reviews saying what a misogynist you are and what a sexist you are and a rape apologist and all these other things, and just bombarding it. What if somebody doesn't like you? What if they know you have a job interview coming up, and so they put up a review just lighten your ass up, and the person you're going to be interviewing with, the person that's going to be deciding whether or not you get this fucking job, looks at that and says, no way, you're not somebody we want at this company. Obviously the person that left this review worked with you or knew you, and you think that sounds far-fetched, but we live in a day and age where companies think it's bizarre if you don't have a fucking Facebook page, where they'll actually actively look into your social media accounts to see who you are and what you do in your spare time. And speaking of looking into you, think of how this kind of a technology, how this kind of software, this kind of social media platform could be used to stalk somebody, could be used to keep tabs on somebody. Because now essentially you've created a bubble around yourself. I know everybody you know, and I know what relationships you had with them. I know this person was your boss, so you must have worked there. They put that down as a relationship they had with you. I can find out who you dated, I can find out who your friends are, I can find out where they live. It's like a homing beacon shot into your ass. If you don't think people are going to abuse this, if you don't think they're going to use it to fucking destroy other people's lives, you are naive. But again, it's just a symptom of the internet that we're on today, where the idea of anonymity and privacy is seen as something that has no value. It's traded away. Every social media service that exists now wants your fucking phone number. They want to know where you live. They want to know what your full name is. Hell, they want your credit cards now. They want your banking information now. All the information they can get about you just so you can talk. And they partly give you two reasons. One, it's security, and the other that it's ease of use. Stop being so archaic in your view of what the internet is. Get over it. We're past the point of usernames. It's time for real ID. And at the same time you see this insanity happening where everybody needs to be identified. Nobody can have an anonymous opinion anymore. You have, on the other end, people saying free speech is terrible. We need to limit what people can say, where they can say it, and then we need to hold them accountable for what they say. We can't just stop you from saying something that offends me, offends my personal sensibilities. I need to be able to make sure you're punished for it. And what better way to do that with your real information attached to every fucking account you're using online? Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is, again, from their FAQ on their website. Anybody can start an account for you. Can I start someone else's profile? Yes, you will need their cell phone number, of fucking course. You will need their cell phone number to start their profile. And they will receive a text that you were the person to start their profile and that they should check out what you said about them on our app. Here's why this is fucking retarded. Well, here are two reasons this is fucking retarded. The first would be, why the fuck do you need a cell phone number for everything online nowadays? It is so utterly invasive and unnecessary. And two, this is a really important bit. They're saying they just want to notify you that an account's been made. They don't need your interaction to verify whether or not you should have an account made. So what's to stop me from creating an account for somebody and then using a bullshit phone number I know that will never have a text responded to? Oh sure, this is John Q. Smith's fucking cell phone number. Go ahead, send him a text. I guarantee you, he's not going to give a shit because the person that owns that phone number is a fucking quadriplegic that's blind. But I think this is the most beautiful part. Remember, one of those co-founders owns 2 fucking marketing firms or whatever it was. So here's where that genius comes into play. Remember how they said that it won't have any negative reviews go up? You're going to like this. How do I dispute a review of me? When another user makes a negative comment about you, 2 stars or less, the comment does not go live right away. It goes into your inbox on the app. You will be notified, and now you have a 48-hour timer to work it out with the user. If you cannot turn a negative into a positive, the comment will go live, and then you can publicly defend yourself. So they rate a negative comment at 2 stars out of 5. What that means is, I could create an account for you, I could get all your fucking personal information related to that account, and then I could put up a 3-star review that says you fuck kids, and it won't be held for 48 hours, because it's not a negative review. That's such a ridiculous fucking safety feature. That's the way you get around it. 3, 4, 5-star review. Yeah, John Q. Public, he fucks kids. 3-star review. I'd have given him 5 stars if he maybe stopped banging 10-year-olds. Didn't want to give him 2 stars, thought that might be too mean because I know him in real life. What a fucking joke. Now these are just basic concerns you should have of the system being abused and how intrusive it is and how fucking weird it is to think that people are going to be rating you from now on and that you have no control over it. You can't take this shit down. They said that themselves. Once it's up, tough fucking luck for you. It stays up. You're not getting it down. But like I said, you have all these companies, all these social media companies that want you to put your personal information out there. They want to know everything about you. They want you to fucking attach it to everything. And while this is going on, in the background you have all these stories about the NSA. You have all these stories about government surveillance programs and how intrusive that is into your life. So what conversation do you think plays out on Twitter related to this website? This conversation is between Pop Loser and the Twitter account for Peeple, which is People for People. And it begins, which government program did you get $50,000 from? We would be happy to discuss. Just send a private message through our website, forthepeople.com. Don't really need a discussion, just curious. We love mentoring and helping entrepreneurs. Just call if you need help and advice. A straight answer would be fine at this point. We are under confidentiality clauses at this point. I'm sorry, Tyler. Please respect that/us. You said the government gave you $50,000. I just want to know which program you applied for. We have asked you to contact our office. Now you are being rude. Not necessary. Have a good night. Now, before I go on, he was referring to this. They have a web series up about their website, and this is the comment he was referring to.
The morning started off with the loss of 35,000, but then the government said, hey, we'll give you 50,000.
So that's the co-founder, Cordray, I believe, saying that they got $50,000 in government funding. And Pop Loser wanted to know, how'd you get it? What do you mean government funding? What part of the government did you get the money from? Oh, well, we're under confidentiality clauses. We can't tell you who gave us the money. So you have basically a giant social surveillance app that has government funding behind it, but they're not going to tell you who's funding it from the government. And it wants to compile information, create social networks, and then have personalized comments from people that know you to describe the kind of character you have. And that doesn't ring some fucking alarm bells. That doesn't make people a little bit uneasy. The thought that they want to create this fucking database where people are rating you, and those people that are rating you are supposed to be the ones that actually know you, to give really personalized and detailed information about your character and your likes and dislikes, while at the same time attaching phone numbers and addresses and business relationships, romantic relationships, sexual relationships, financial relationships, to create a complete picture of who you are. Yeah, I wonder what government agency would be interested in funding that kind of endeavor. Now, I could be wrong. For all I know, it's the fucking Department of Agriculture, and she grows really great fucking corn. But I highly doubt it. And last time I checked, the Department of Agriculture doesn't ask for non-disclosure agreements when they give you government funding. That strikes me as a little fucking weird. Stranger still are her follow-up comments in this line of questioning and in others. She eventually links him to the Canadian Business Bureau and says that we've signed NDA non-disclosure agreements and I can't comment on any of this. And then, this is in between her getting upset and saying you're bullying and harassing me by asking me these very basic fucking questions. So the weird part here is Cordray is a native of the US, lives in Canada, has businesses in Canada, yet apparently is developing the app in the US. So, is that a real answer? She said we have NDA agreements, I can't comment on it, and then links them to a website. It's not really an answer, though, is it? Then she goes on further to state in another conversation with somebody else that, no, they were the ones that asked for the non-disclosure agreement because they don't want the government talking to people about what they're doing. What in the fuck? That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. We are in a society right now that has lost its fucking mind. They have forgotten the value of the things that they have. They are throwing away one of the best creations we as a species have. The internet is a magnificent thing, but you are going to fucking murder it. You are going to absolutely destroy it. If you force out anonymity and you force out free speech and you give in to corporations and different government interests from around the world that want to lock everybody up under a massive surveillance machine. And social media isn't really about being social anymore. It's about being monitored 24 hours a day. What are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you interacting with? And then who are we giving that information to, and what are they using it for? And the sad part is that it's not the government and it's not corporations that are allowing this to happen. It's us. We are so tuned out of it at this point. We are so apathetic and stupid about it that we're just letting it slip away. But fuck it. What do I know? I'm probably expecting too much of you fucking filthy Berenstain people.